welcome. These are horse racing selections for Saturday, the 5th of April. It's Grand National Day. I am Flatcap Callum, and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. All right, big day's arrived. Not massive in terms of, I've talked about this many times on the channel. 34 runners, 6 places on most bookies. Betfred have won 7, they're the only ones. It's not exactly great place terms. So unless there's a decent price winner and you're on it and you're winning, then you're scrabbling for a bit of place money, or you're throwing a few darts at 9, 10 to 1 shot. So it's a fun race to watch. It's a fun race to have an interest in. I have got a few selections. I'm going to give you 4, but none of them are starred. I have, outside of the Grand National, got 10 horses starred. So the plan for Saturday is it's £30 and 50 pence, 3/4 of our maximum stake, and that is made up of an Aintree Yankee, including a horse in the Grand National that's not starred. There's the last leg. We've then got a Meydan, so the World Cup meeting in Dubai World Cup meeting at Meydan. We've got 3 races, 4 horses, so some combo doubles and trebles there. And then we've got the singles for Aintree for the Grand National, and then we're finishing off after the Grand National's all said and done. We've got 4 horses, sort of tea time into the evening, at a variety of tracks. Newcastle, Bellewstown, Wolverhampton, something else. We'll get there. What was the other one? Don't know. It's fallen out, man. Yarmouth, maybe Yarmouth. Yarmouth, Bellewstown, Wolverhampton, and Newcastle, all over the chip shop. So that'll be a Yankee to finish. So 2 Yankees, combo doubles and trebles in Meydan, and some singles on the Grand National. And that's £30.50. Roughly, it's half singles and half multiples. I think it's 15 on the singles, 15.50 on the multiples. Before we do that, we'll spin through how we got on Friday. It was another good day. We've had 3 out of 4 positive days this week, and Friday was the best one, which is grand. So we do go into the weekend having had a nice week, and win, lose or draw on Grand National Day. If you followed all week to advice stakes and whatnot, then we're only technically betting just over half of what we've already made on Saturday on the Grand National, with a view there might be a small interest on Sunday. I'm not imagining it's going to be big if there's anything. I can't imagine it's going to be more than like 3 or 4 horses on a Sunday, so there might be a small interest Sunday. So all that being said, hopefully means we were already sort of pretty much there over the line for a profitable week, which is nice. That's what we would like, because the last few have been a little bit losing a few quid. So review Friday. All right, review Friday. We started off with a combination double between my 2 favoured handicaps, Aintree. We got an absolute crackerjack from leg 1. Wellington Arch went from the front, didn't get caught. 16s, 14s was SPs, and then Ike Sport, up and down on the prices. I think the SP 28s. I think that sounds about right. But you could have got 66s about an hour or 2 before the race. So 33s is what the channel paid. So we got a win and a place. And it only got that place just sort of near the end. It didn't really seem to be that involved in the race. So 1st and 5th going on to, and we got singles on those. The 405 where we split against 4. Fantastic Lady had a bit of a stumble, and jockey nearly came off and was helped by another jockey, so that was nice for them, but that sort of pretty much took their chances out. Ginny's Destiny looked like the one that was going to get framed for us, and then had a bit of a blunder, which ended up meaning it finished 7th with Jetoile, which 50s was available on that one. That got up for 6th place, which I think outside of, I think it looked 888 and Labrooks didn't pay it out on 6th, I'm afraid. All the other major bookies appeared to do that, and if you're Sky, you also got Ginny's Destiny. So really nice place double. So we got Wellington Arch onto Jetoy and Ike Sport onto Jetoy, and obviously 33's gone on to 40s was a nice one. So really good return there, and with the singles on there. So of the 4 horses, we backed single in there, 1, 1 and 2 placed at good prices. And so we were home and dry before this one really got going. So Smart, close but not enough. I think it was 5th, but very close to being placed. Lady Packs a lunch. Don't think they're packing lunches. Punch. Lady Packs a punch. That was a good horse actually. It ran really nicely. But yeah, and looked like it could have won at places, but was placed only. That was. Well, it wasn't terrible. I just think it came up the wrong side of the track. I mean, it was completely unfancied in the market and not very close at the finish. But yeah, all the action was on the other side of the track. Feel the Need. We took a Rule 4 on there, despite the fact it went off at a bigger price, which is a bit annoying. I think it was 4th. And then Molten Groove, only found 1 too good there. We took a little bit of a Rule 4 off that, but it did go off at slightly shorter at 8 to 1. So basically, we've got bits back here. We got place money for that, and we got the Trixie, a little bit of basically money back on the Trixie for that, and then we got a little profit on the Canadian for 3 out of 5 legs. So all in all, it was 1975 on Friday, and the final total, let me just double check, it returned 58.83, so £39 profit, which puts us 55 up for the week. So very nice indeed. Please, as I'd always would advise you, don't get carried away, because everyone's like, well, it's a good week, surely it's going to carry on Saturday. A blank day is always just around the corner. You never know when the fun stops, right? Sometimes it just goes like that. So we've had a nice week so far. We could have an absolute blank day on Saturday. So please bear that in mind. If you've had a good week and you followed what we've done on the channel, you don't need to alter your stakes. Just carry on in the same vein you've been doing. And this is how, one of the things that what you've got to do in here is discipline. Not getting overconfident when you're having a good week, right? So the types of stakes I'm using personally are completely the same on Saturday as they were on Friday, even though I had a good day on Friday. Okay, let's get into the bets for Saturday. I'll go through this quite swiftly, but I will dwell on the Grand National one just to give you a bit more context on that. Okay, so Aintree, I managed to get an Aintree lucky, sort of Aintree Yankee. So apart from the Grand National, my very slight lean in there, the other 3 are all stars. So 120 Aintree, what could have been? Coming over from Ireland, the trainers never sent a horse over to Ireland on the jumps. Had a couple of runs, I think, on the flat, but never sent a horse on the jumps. Good £3 claimer jockey on the horse. It's got a really funny, inconsistent profile, but 50s is a good price, I think. And there are 4 bookies, Sky, Paddy, Betfair, Unibet, paying 6 places on that race, which is cracking. So you've got better place terms on that race than do you on the Grand National, because there's 20 runners there and there's 34 there. So if you can get one of those 6 places, that's what we'd be claiming for the channel unless anything changes. But 50s is a really good price. So the horse seems to peak in April. If you look the last couple of seasons, peak at April. The ground is a little niggle because it's really unproven on decent ground, and that would be one little niggle with the horse. But I don't think they're bringing it over for a holiday. And this time last year it ran a bit later, but in April it ran in the equivalent of the Punchestown Stayers Hurdle. Ran a really good race. If you look around the horses that were around it and you do weight conversion for kind of actually from a ratings point of view, it was a really good performance. And the time before that in April, I think it was Fairy House, it ran a really nice race. So yeah, April's the time of year for the horse, and it ran a really good prep race actually, but again, a bit softer ground. 3 miles though, I think Aintree could be a good thing for that one. So yeah, let's hope we get a run for our money for top 6 for that one. Then 155 Aintree in the what is that? The novice. Oh, it's against Lulamba in it. So Lulamba should, in theory, win that race very comfortably. So in theory, you're looking for a place, or you're looking for Lulamba to not perform. Miami Magic, I think, is next best. So 12 to 1, I think it's worth playing. 230 Sam Brown. We're going to go with the veteran. We've got a couple of veterans in the plan today, but Sam Brown, really loves this race, and despite the fact his aging years, ran a nice race last time to win off the same £7 claimer that is on for today, and ran in this race last year, ran a really good race, and then 2 years before that, because I think in between it ran in the Grand National. But yeah, it seems to particularly like Aintree this time of year. So yeah, I know it's old, but we're going to go and play for 4 places on that one. And then in the Grand National, I'll come back to the Grand National, so we'll just say Twig is in there at 50s. So it's 25p each way Yankee, 50p each way singles on the 3 starred horses, 850 in total. So it's Sky, Paddy, Betfair, Unibet, because you'll get the 6th place there. If you can't use them and you've got Betfred, then use Betfred, because you'll get the 7th place on the Grand National, 850. Okay, going over to Meydan. Won't be for everyone. It's top quality racing. There's like millions of pounds available in prize money here. So I've stuck to the turf stuff. I haven't gone on the dirt. I prefer the turf for consistency, but these are all top class races, top class horses. So 320 Meydan. If I could give you a lean of any of the 4, it would be this one. And I really like the 25s you can get on Paddy and Betfair if you can do that. See if we can get this right. Izzy Vungo Vungo. That's what we're going to go with. It's come over from the US to race at the meeting. And yeah, I think it's slightly overlooked in the market. There's quite a few horses that, it's a 6 furlong race, that might not find 6 furlongs, might not be what they want. They really want 5 or they want 7. I think that horse looks best at 6, and there's a few bookies there. Paddy, Betfair, 365 and Sky paying 4 places on that race. So that is what we're playing for the channel, to try and get that in the top 4. Then the 5:15, it's very tight, that race. There's a few I could have argued a case for. It's a good race to have a bet. It's a bad each way race, and I've landed on, because I prefer looking at some of these Japanese horses in the mid distances for this sort of a meeting. Breeder Wag, we maybe go Breeder Wag, 18s, and then we're going to go with the Haggis horse, which I think is slightly overpriced. It's inconsistent. When it does run well, it's normally a valuable race, is 1, and when it has run well, it's a mile but staying on. So we're going to go hope that 9 furlongs, and this is a special little plan, because the prep race was poor, but it's a prep race. I'm not too worried about that. So Marjoum, the Haggis horse, 40-1, and then the 5:50, again, it was quite a tight race, but I've come down on a Japanese horse in that one too, Savinia at 14s. So the bet is 5 times 35p each way doubles, 2 times 25p each way trebles. That's 450. There's 5 possible combinations of doubles, because we've got 2 in this leg there. 50p each way singles on all 4. They're all starred horses, 850. That is the Dubai World Cup bet. Then on to the Grand National singles. Here are my 4 for the Grand National. So yeah, everyone wants to get the win in the Grand National, but equally, as if you've regular followers on here, I'm not the guy who's going to play the 9-10 to 1-shot favourites, right? So I'm looking at the value in the market, and this is where I've fallen myself on. I can't use, that's not good English. Twig, slight lean for Twig. It's really interesting, that horse. They've absolutely prepped it for this race. They've kept it over hurdles this year. And they got it in the last chase race, Doncaster. They didn't need it to do anything. That was basically it qualifying to have run enough chase, have enough chase starts. It's a 10-year-old. Some will say that's a little bit of a negative, but it's absolutely been lined up for it. Last spring, they ran it at Cheltenham. It was I think it was 2nd in the Ultimate on bad ground, and then came to Aintree and was 5th in the 3-mile 1 chase. So fine with Aintree. Good with the spring, and yeah, I think they've realised that actually on that kind of handicap mark, if they protected it, they might just scrape in the bottom of the weights for the Grand National, and that's exactly what's happened. Bo Morgan is a jockey that isn't sort of like a household name type of jockey, but he's ridden the horse all the way through, even from right when it was running in point to points, and it ran well in point to points before. It shapes like it wants to stay, this horse, further than what it's done. If you look at the breeding on the sire, so its dad that has bred quite a few good horses. Rule of the World that won the Grand National, some other good staying chases, Honeysuckle even. So it's bred some good horses, and apart from Honeysuckle being an absolute number one, the others all were really good stayers. So yeah, I think they'll try and run it fairly up with the pace. Whether it's it's ultimately good enough to trouble the Irish horses, it doesn't look brilliantly handicapped compared to how some of the others are fairly obviously well in on the weights. But I think when they're trying, this horse has shown that it's versatile and on the ground, but actually a lot of its good back form was on decent ground. So Twig's slight lean, and then this is the one, like I've had like a top 10 if you like, and this is the one that keeps creeping up, and it's managed to make it to number 2. Senior Chief, Henny de Bromhead, Dara O'Keefe. You would assume therefore it's second string because Rachel Blackmore might have had choice and she's gone Manila Indo. I can't see Manila Indo winning. I can see that it's got some level of value for a place, but I think Senior Chief is another one. It's got the obligatory, it's run the 6 races to get qualified, as in 6 chase races. It ran well in what, the old, I forget what you call it, in old money, the Hennessy, was 5th or 6th in that race, and that was after it ran a nice race and won a race at handicap at Cheltenham on decent ground. So ground looks good. It looks like it wants to go further. It looks like a horse they've absolutely laid it for the race. They ran it in a hurdle race last time just to keep it ticking over, I think. And yeah, it's still potentially progressive. 8-year-old, so good age profile for the race. And I think if Rachel Blackmore was on it, you'd probably be looking at half the price. Whereas Dara O'Keefe is not somebody, certainly from a British punter's point of view, that people are going to latch on to. But he does well. So Senior Chief is there, and then Duffel Coat, sort of been relegated. It was kind of number 2 horse. The price has gone a little bit on it in terms of I've seen a few people. It sort of seems to be like the shrewdest horse to put up because it got in the weights late, so it was sort of fairly unnoticed. But if you look last time, it ran a really nice race at Cheltenham before being brought down. Had it gone on to finish in the top 4 in that race, it would be a lot shorter in the odds. Slight question mark is how much that's taken out of it and how much. How much of a bit of a bruising it got from that race. Danny Gilligan is riding it, and I think he probably had dibs. It's debatable between him and Sam Ewing at the moment, but he's good jockey. I like Danny Gilligan, and I would prefer to go with him on a Gordon Elliott horse and a handicap. So Duffel Coat is in, and then a 4th horse, 300 through 5, one of the Paul Nicholls horses. There's a lot more British horses in this year compared to last year. Paul Nicholls has got He's definitely got 2. Has he got 3? Maybe 3? 3. He's got 3. I think he's got 3. But because the Skeltons haven't got a horse in there, Harry Skelton is free to ride it. So you've got the champion jockey elect ish. I think, is he actually won? I don't think he actually won. He won the obviously the Jockey's Cup on the weekend. The one with the big prize money. Forget the name of it. It's the new thing. But champion jockey elect. What's not to like? You've got a horse there. It's a proven stayer, proven on good ground. Generally runs its race. Been decent enough effort in a Scottish Grand National a couple of years ago. So yeah, there may well be better progressive horses, but it's a top quality horse. So I would be surprised if it's the one that wins. I think there's angles I can argue any of those are more likely winners. But from a frame consistency point of view, that's the one that's made it 4th on the list. So they're all 50p each way singles, £4. That is what we're doing for the channel. Betfred, if you can get 7 places, great. I umdenard for the channel, making it nice and easy. I will take those prices. They are fair prices. You can get slightly better in places on some of them. I'll take these for the channel, £4. Okay, and then finishing off, if you still want more, once the Grand National's done, so we could be sat there after the Grand National licking our wounds, none of the 4 are anywhere, the Aintree ones have gone down, and Meydan's not looking too great. This is what we will finish off with. There's no need to be chasing on this channel. There's always a little bet to come somewhere. So 505 Newcastle, Brooklynese 33 to 1, a bumper. That's the last at Newcastle. That's what you want. But yes, that has come up on come up. I'm just going to spin through these because it's late. Right, so Brooklyn Ease, and then 506 Yarmouth Rhythmic Acclaim. It's a 7 runner. I'd play it if you can only get the 2 places, but if you can get the 3 with Sky 365 or Betfred as major bookies, BetMGM also, I think SpreadX, another one that you might be able to do it with. But Sky 365, Betfred are your main ones. 3 places. Again, that's what we'd be aiming for with the channel, because that's 3 major bookies. Then the 625 Bellestown, we're going to go with the veteran only spoofing. It's a tricky one because the horse runs probably more bad races than good, but generally has run well at Bellestown on decent enough ground. So there's nothing in that race that looks like a worldly to me. It's not, it's not the best quality, but it's not basement mark. But on a going day, only spoofing could absolutely get top 4 in that race. So we are playing only spoofing at 28s. And then 8.15 Wolves. We are finishing off at Wolverhampton in a Class 6. Can lightning strike twice? We've already put a horse up this week to do that. And we're going to go Bell's Blue Ski. I think the recent form is wayward, but Jason Hart is back in the plate. And the 3 times he's run that horse, it's run the best 3 runs by a long way, including over a course and distance run back last February. So we're hoping that Jason Hart re-engages with that horse, because the back form says that's the best handicapped horse in the race. That is it. 25p each way Yankee, 50p each way singles on all 4, 950 is total. Sky's best for extra places, and then 365 or Betfred or BetMGM if you've got it, so you can get the 3rd place there. If you can't use them, then Paddy would be next best for other places. That is it. Right, 30-50, that's it. Good luck with whatever you're going with. Feel free, if you want to put your 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Grand National in the comments, and we could pull some data and see if there's any strength in that collective mind, my hive mind, so that actually, which the one that more people say, will that actually be the ultimate one we should be on for winning? I don't know. But yeah, that's my 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Grand National. If you want to put your 1, 2, 3, 4 in the comments, you feel free to. And yeah, good luck. Let's hope it's a good race. Let's hope all the horses get around safely. Let's hope it's a bit of a spectacle. And I will see you, in theory, Saturday night, possibly Sunday morning, if there's a few selections for Sunday. But we'll see. This is the 5th video in a row I've done. So, I'm not saying get the violins out, guys, but I'm a bit out of practice. And Aintree week takes a little bit more effort than the average week. So, yeah, starting to get a little bit on the tired side from video making, but we'll see how we get on. All right, that is me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.